Colts football with y'all.
Yeah. So first question which was in the comments, was nervous on the wide receiver play, and they wanted to know our thoughts. So I just kind of said, if you caught the back end of that, I feel really good about having Jonathan Taylor at running back, and I feel really good about having Michael Pittman at wide receiver, and that these young guys are just going to continue to grow with them, I think. So it's not as big of a concern for me, but maybe for other people it might be. But I don't know if you've got any takes on that or what you think.
Well, if the Texans defense plays like anything the Texans defense did last season, I don't think wide receivers should be a big worry for this game. Definitely save that question for following game, but out
Yeah,
of like all the games that we played this season, this should be the game that you worry least about our wide receivers.
I
And
would
I'm
hope. I
kind
would
of
hope.
and yeah, I mean, you know how week one goes, but I feel like we're just gonna repeat that phrase for the rest of this time. I'm excited to see where Stingley lines up. If he lines up or shadows Pittman throughout the whole
Yeah,
game. Um, I know they got some like cool little pieces on that defensive roster. Haven't really been able to put it together fully, but we also got some pretty cool pieces on our offensive roster, and it's just going to be a very interesting kind of scenario to play out.
yeah,
Wide receiver, I'm most excited about watching is of course Alec Pierce. I feel like this is definitely a game where he can come in and find himself in the NFL, and I don't see much to go back to the original question. I don't see much worry for these new guys and the wide
I
receiver core.
agree. I agree, and especially with something I didn't think about, but it's Naeem Hines season, man. It's Naeem Hines season.
Yep.
He's gonna be out at wide receiver. They're gonna use him exactly like they used Cordarrelle Patterson in Atlanta last year with Matt Ryan. Um, I'm really excited about what he can do this year, because I think you're gonna see a guy that has a chip on his shoulder because he got, for whatever reason you believe, he got overlooked last season, in my opinion. Um, he just didn't get the ball enough. He didn't get what he deserved in terms of touches. He's one of this team's best playmakers. I think he's going to play with a huge chip on his shoulder, especially today. You might see him have a big game. I think that's one guy to watch. I think he's got a huge chip on his shoulder, and he's going to play extremely well today. Especially if you're a fantasy owner, I might put him in my flex spot if I were you. But I wonder if Theo has thoughts on that.
Um. Well, Hines did really well that week one game against the Chargers.
Yeah,
Um. Or was it against? I don't know what team Philip Rivers played week one against.
it
It
was
might have been the
it was Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. Yeah, Naeem Hines had that RB. He was ranked like the RB2, RB3 that week, and with people speculating that this offense, or not really even speculating, we saw it sometimes in the preseason and in training camp, the offense operate like what it did under Philip Rivers with those quick underthrow passes. Um, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Naeem Hines just absolutely go off for no reason, or one of the main reasons that the Texans don't guard him, but just those receptions that in targets that he'll be receiving today could be substantial.
Yeah, and before I say anything else, again, if you guys have questions, we want to talk to you guys. So if you want to just drop questions in the comments or request to speak, we're happy to have you guys on. But yeah, just gonna go back to that. I think Naeem Hines is just gonna have a really good. It's really good. Naeem Hines is gonna have a great game today, but it's really good. Whatever you thought of Carson Wentz last year, I think he's a fine NFL quarterback, but he just clearly didn't fit this system. I was talking about this with Stephen Reed a few weeks ago. Um, and it's really nice because Frank Reich's offense is such a timing based system where you're more like a point guard. You just got to make the passes, you got to make the layups, you got to make. You heard Bauer talk about making the layups. That's exactly what he means. The throws are going to be there. You just have to see them and make them. Um, I think Carson Wentz, if you want to go to basketball terms, I don't know if you guys are Hoosiers, you guys know all about basketball. So If sometimes players will live and die by the three. That's kind of how Carson Wentz played. He was just living and dying by the three. He was taking risk, and when it paid off big. When it didn't, it cost the team a lot in big situations.
That man was just living and dying.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I don't. Whatever. I just think that's what he was doing out there. It really didn't look like he was.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the deep shots and everything, but man, that was. I'm glad that's kind of over.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And it's just really exciting because I think Matt Ryan fits more of what. To go back to that point guard analogy in basketball, he's going to make the easy throws. He's gonna look like I think.
I don't know
Whatever.
anybody in basketball that said easy throws. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Right.
I'm just giving this shit this morning.
I know. But yeah, I think Matt Ryan's gonna look really good today. They might have some rust today. There might be the early season stuff, but I'm really excited about what he's gonna do this year and what he's gonna do today. Really, really, really excited to see how he performs. We got Jay in here. That's a problem. I heard the last time he was on, there was lots of jokes and lots of he's just a
Yeah,
troublemaker.
yeah. He brought out the worst in me, but some people
Yeah,
think that's for the better.
yeah,
Some people think it's for the worst, depending on your viewpoint. But now that he's here, I guess it's time for everybody to figure that out. I don't know if he wants to speak though. You probably invited him to speak already, but
yeah. Jay, if you want to come on, you just got to request to speak. That's all you got to do, buddy. But yeah, that goes for everyone too. If you request to speak, we'd love to have you on. Just talk football. Leave comments in the or excuse me, if I can English today. Leave questions in the comments, and we'll talk more about whatever you guys want to talk about too. And for better or worse, here is Jay. He's coming on currently, but yeah, really excited about today. It's just gonna be I just week one, man. It's just so exciting. Like this is like Christmas, in September. It's like Christmas is in September. It's just awesome. It's so exciting.
Jay, what's up, man?
Nothing much, guys. What about you? Are you ready for some football?
I
Hell
am now.
yeah!
Well, what have you guys been
But,
covering? I hear you've
what
been
player?
talking a little bit about wide receivers and quarterbacks and everything.
Yeah. So one of our questions was about wide receiver play, and like someone's already concerned about it, and we haven't even kicked off. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I think we were just kind of talking about the wide receiver room and what that's going to look like today and kind of the season too. But
Did anyone say
yeah,
someone's going to have a TY versus Houston Texans game?
I made a comment that Ty owns them, but yeah. Well, who's the new owner? Wait, wasn't that I think Blue Stable put that. Who's the new owner of the Houston Texans, guys? Who do you guys think?
Well, we got some prime candidates, all right? So there's two on the defense and one on the offense for new
Okay,
owner.
okay,
Uh, I did put out a little bit of a poll to see who amongst the two of those candidates would be the best this season against the Texans. But anyways, the candidates are Jonathan Taylor, who did phenomenally last year. He averaged 144 yards rushing on the ground and had about, I think, 4 touchdowns against them in 2 games, which that's pretty dominant.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah. Then there's DeForest Buckner, who has been a menace to them ever since he's joined the Colts 2 years ago. He has been phenomenal. He's gotten, I believe, 6 sacks over the last 4 games against them, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then we got Kenny Moore, who just makes an impact in every single phase of the game. He's shut down guys. He has crashed the run very well. He's even blitzed the quarterback a few times, getting into the face of some of them. So it's going to be interesting to see who kind of has the advantage in terms of, hey, who's going to be our dominant guy going forward against this team?
Right. Lightning in a bottle, man. That's Kenny Moore. Thea, what do you think?
Yeah, my pick is DeForest Buckner for sure. I don't know. I just kind of woke up this morning and I got a gut feeling. I don't know if I like dreamt it last night. Who knows? Who knows if I was dreaming about DeForest Buckner? I imagine that every Colts fan has been there. But yeah, I just woke up today and I was like, you know what? I think he's gonna have a big day today. There's something that tells me that he's just gonna absolutely blow it up, the Texas offensive line.
Well, he's going to have a very good matchup against Kenyon Green.
Oh,
That is true.
Yes. I just feel like there wasn't a lot of DeForest Buckner talk this offseason, and that could change this game, and where just
He flat out dominates.
He could re-enter the All-Pro talk mid-season. I really hope he does, but he's just the person. We're so glad to have him on our defense. I feel like because if you take him away, I don't know if you take a lot of star players away from other teams' defenses, but that's just such a glaring hole that he fills for the Colts defense. And I'm excited to see him finally just get back to playing and Texans matchup. It's going to be a good one, I hope.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give you guys a defensive player that you guys probably aren't thinking of. Grover Stewart. I think Grover Stewart's just gonna absolutely feast today. He played extremely well in the preseason, which I know it's like right, it's the preseason, but like he just looked like he had a not to use the same analogy, but he looked like he had a huge chip on his shoulder. He's out here trying to prove something. I think this new scheme will actually I said it in the past that it would actually hinder him, but I think now that I've seen it in games and in practice, I think this new scheme is actually going to help him. I think he's actually a better upfield pass rusher than maybe we've given him credit for, and I think his run stuffing ability will just show today. So that would be my player on the defense. Then my player on the offense. Ooh, this is hard. I mean, it's hard, but it's not right. Like Jonathan Taylor just stands out to you, but I think to keep it with the wide receivers, I think I got to go with Michael Pittman. I think Michael Pittman's gonna have a big game today. Uh, 3 quarterbacks in 3 years, which is crazy for him, but he's been a consistent producer. I think he's out here trying to prove something too. This whole team is. I think you go back to the game in Jacksonville last year, and that was just a flat out embarrassment. And I think these guys have been sitting on that loss for so long that they're gonna come out today and just blow the Texans out, and it won't even be close. That's kind of my take on today's game, but that's probably why they're the biggest betting favorite for this week too. If you look at the lines, right, they're like seven. I think they were like a 7.5 point favorite today. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, you're betting on someone to win at least by a touchdown, right? So that's just insane to me.
And more. I mean, it's hard for me to see them cover that in a divisional game week 1. It's two things that like I usually like to see the lines where the divisional games are over a touchdown and they like divisional games over a touchdown. Colts week 1, 7.5 is quite a bit, but um if anything could change about this new scheme with Gus Bradley on defense, and it could be a real shocker. Who knows? They might blow them out, and then people start talking about them being Super Bowl favorites. But
Yeah,
after week 1, as we all know, fans love to do.
right.
But yeah, that line scares me a little. I wouldn't. I'd take the Texans to cover that one.
Yeah, that was kind of my like the rational thought in me is like, yeah, the game is gonna be close because it's week 1. But the irrational thought of me is like, just like the emotional thought of me is like, they're just gonna blow them out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those. I feel like this is just one of those games where they're come out and just destroy the Texans. I mean, it's just gonna happen. But the Texans could feel the exact same way because the Colts killed them last year too. Like, didn't they out like in the 2 games they outscored them like 62-3 or something? It was nuts.
Yeah, step one for the Texans to win this game is to actually score a touchdown, which they have yet to do with Davis Mills at quarterback versus the Colts. So we'll see if we can get the best out of Davis Mills for once, but I don't know.
Yeah, not to talk too much about the Texans though, but Davis Mills' progression into his sophomore year, I know like a lot of people said that he was the best rookie quarterback last year, and statistically, you can make the argument that he was. And as sort of a stepping back out of my Colts fan role, just looking at the whole NFL landscape, I'm kind of excited to see what he can do as a sophomore. Maybe if he improves, that is definitely eye-opening for Texans fans, as that could be their future quarterback for the next 4 or 5 years. But
Yeah, wouldn't that be insane if they, because they drafted him in like the third round. Wouldn't that be insane if they found their future guy in the third round?
amazing value in contract and a draft capital. You save so much energy on not looking for a quarterback. I mean, he could be like that Derek, like not as good as Derek Carr, but sort of what Derek Carr was for the Raiders for a while, and where he was that run of the mill quarterback where you see all those media outlets saying Raiders could be shopping him. No Raiders like him. No Raiders are going to look for a quarterback in the draft. No Raiders are content with him at quarterback. And I'm guessing that's kind of what the career trajectory that Davis Mills is going to have if he improves this season. And if he doesn't improve this season, I can surely bet that they're going to tank and draft one of the amazing quarterbacks heading into this upcoming draft.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Um, I'm really excited. For them, it's like I'm kind of excited for them too. Like if they can get their guy, that'll just make the. I kind of want these games to be competitive, in some respects, right? Because it's like, um, it's one of those things where it's just like you get tired of just blowing them out, kind of like the Titans for a while. Like the Colts have been really good for too long. Like we just need it. We need some competition. We need someone to set us straight. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I do. I know Colts fans are really excited, and they're all gonna say like, let's whoop the Texans." But if the score is like 35-0 at halftime, I mean, it's gonna be fun, but it's not gonna be like that exciting football that we were
Kind of hoping
really
for, right?
excited. Yeah, that we were hoping for week one, because all the anticipation builds up and it just ends so. It's so anticlimactic. It's not. I mean, you're happy for the rest of the day, which is good, but
Right,
it's not that same feeling as you just watch the Colts go back and forth with an NFL team and win. I mean,
right.
I know NFL teams, coaches, front office would rather not do that and just showcase a absolutely dominant team against another team that has struggled in the past. But for today's game, if we can get a somewhat of a balance between that, so I'd say like a 14-point win. That's where my medium is, where it's like the perfect Colts game for week one.
Yeah, I agree with that. Um, so I noticed in the comments, Nas says underrated Texans players and matchups fans should pay attention to. And for me, I honestly, what I'm really interested to see today, it's not necessarily, I guess it sort of is a matchup. I'm interested to see how our run defense fares against the Houston Texans and Damian Pierce in the rushing attack. I'm interested to see if they can continue like for whatever you think of Matt Eberflus. It's one of those things again where he's kind of polarizing, but he did do a good job here in Indianapolis, and one of the things he did extremely well in coaching was we're going to stop the run. Now in doing that, he also ignored the passing game a little bit, but they stopped the run really well. So I'm interested to see how our defense fares against Dameon Pierce and the rushing attack of the Houston Texans. Are there any players or matchups you're looking forward to, Theo?
I know I already mentioned
The
Michael
Kenyon Green,
Pittman.
right? Yeah.
That was Jay.
Oh, that was Jay. That's right.
I said Michael Pittman versus Derek Stingley Jr.
Right.
To see because Derek Stingley Jr. was a top cornerback prospect for such a long time in college football,
Yeah.
and the anticipation of him coming into the draft. I know his draft stock sort of dipped in like right before the draft. Then right before the draft, it spiked up, and
Mm-hmm.
he got taken early by the Texans. If you invest that high in a cornerback, I mean, you can't expect immediate results, but
But you kind of want them.
yeah, but Pittman is definitely one of those matchups where it can really test Derek Stingley Jr.'s star power, immediate star power. Like Jamar Chase early on last year, he got tested for it in the regular season and he succeeded, and now he's at superstar level and he's
Right.
in some people's top 5 wide receivers. Um, I have no idea what Derek Stingley Jr. has in store for Michael Pittman Jr. today. But on the flip side, I don't know what Michael Pittman Jr. has in store for Derek Stingley Jr. I mean, this could be his time to shine and where he legitimizes himself to be a top 10 wide receiver. So there's a lot on the line and storylines that could be developed from that matchup today.
And to your point, I wonder if the Texans are thinking, man, if Alec Pierce is out there, do we just put Stingley on him just to kind of, see how he fares against another rookie, or do we put him on the Colts' best receiver, Michael Pittman Jr.? Those are game planning questions that Lovie Smith and the Houston Texans staff is likely asking, right? Because to me, I don't know how. I mean, if he plays well against Michael Pittman, that's awesome, right, for him. Not awesome for the Colts, but um, I don't I don't know if I would put a rookie corner in his first game on Derek Stingley or on Michael Pittman Jr. I just think that's a really tough ask of your rookie corner, especially one with already lofty expectations, right? I mean, I think it's pretty tough. But in the same respect, like to go back to his draft position, that's kind of what you want. That's kind of what you drafted him to be, right? You drafted him to cover guys like Michael Pittman Jr. too. So there's you got to find that happy medium of gosh, it's hard. It's just really hard. I don't know what you do if you're the Texans coaching staff in that situation. Good problem for us, but not necessarily for them, right?
Mm-hmm. And we got a good response in here. Bold prediction of the day: Strong gets a touchdown, his first touchdown, plus 1,500 as well.
Ooh.
That is bold, very bold. I know Patman is inactive today, and so is the Colts Twitter's golden boy Sam Ellinger. Destin's happy to see that, I bet. But yeah, what are some of your bold predictions for today? And do you agree with Garden Man's bold prediction?
That is though. I'm a big bold prediction guy, but that's pretty bold. I like it though. I think Strong, in the game against that was Tampa Bay, right, where he did like a little corner route to the end zone, and he just looked good. Like even his first day back in camp, I went with Destin Adams, not with us anymore. It makes me sad, but yeah. We when we were there on the his first day back in training camp, Mike was a guy that uh, he just showed potential. Like he's a good route runner. He can catch the ball really well. He's got good hands. I really like his upside. I think maybe not now, but shoot, maybe in a year he's a guy that you feel comfortable with being your fourth or fifth best wide receiver. But if I had to go with a bold prediction for today, I'm going to go with Kwity Paye getting at least 2 sacks. That's my bold prediction for today. I think Kwity is going to, just like Max Crosby did last year in Las Vegas with Yannick on the other side. I know we see the Ngakoue versus Tunsil matchup right there, that comment from Noah. But that's exactly why I'm looking forward to seeing what Kwity Paye can do today. I think he gets at least 2 sacks. I think, one of those comes off of effort. And I think one of those is just, I think he's shown, like, in camp, even against, like, guys like Braden Smith, like, he's definitely developed some counters, some different moves he can get, so he can get to the quarterback in a more efficient manner, which he didn't really have that opportunity last year, to be blunt. But yeah, I think Kwity Paye's gonna have at least 2 sacks today. That's my prediction, bold prediction for today.
For me,
what do you think?
Well, first, on the Strong touchdown bet, I don't know. Like, I mean, a bold prediction, not a lot of people are going to agree on it. And of course, if I had to choose yes or no, I'm going to say no, I don't agree on that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely plausible throughout the season. I just wouldn't put my money down on it every week until it happens.
Yeah.
It's more of like, all right, I can't shoot my shot in the dark and hope it hits something. I just got to see it actually hit the target first, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but Matt Ryan has been known to throw to a ton of targets, so it could happen. I mean, it's not like him getting a touchdown, whether it's this game or this season, is definitely plausible.
Well, I think he will score a touchdown this season. I'm just not sure it's going to happen in week 1. Like, you know what I'm thinking? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if they're going to.
I'd say like the Strong trick play end zone touchdown for a better team than the Texans. I'm probably going to regret saying that. But
and we're probably going to lose now, but
yeah.
Theo just jinxed us, everyone. Blame Theo if the Colts lose today. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Not a good idea.
You can't do that. I could take the heat.
Okay. He said it, not me.
As long as you blame Frank Reich as well, because if the Colts lose, it's me and his fault. I'll drag him. All
right, you got to shift the blame to the head coach, just like everyone else. Yeah, okay. And then you got to do it to Matt Ryan too, right? That you got to shift the blame to the right.
He's
our golden boy for today.
Yeah, he's perfect. He's perfect in every which way. I can't be mad at him for no matter how many picks he throws.
Even if he throws like 5 interceptions today, none. There's no reason to get mad at him.
Nope. I'm still gonna love him, just as I do. But going to my bold prediction, I say Brandon Cooks gets no more than 40 yards. 40 yards being guarded by Stephon Gilmore.
At first, I was like, hold on.
40 yards being guarded by Stephon Gilmore, and Stephon Gilmore gets a pick.
Ooh, I like that one. That was spicy. I like it.
Gilly Lock is back. Brandon Cooks, he always hits that benchmark of 1,000 yards per season.
Now that's a really interesting matchup that we haven't talked about, because sorry to interrupt you, but I think Gilmore and Cooks may have crossed paths when they were in New England, right? So like, I think that's right. I'm going with it either way. Someone can fact check me in the comments if they want, but I think those two crossed paths in New England, and if that's true, they've probably gone up against each other in practice, and they probably know, Gilly probably knows Cook's moves, and Cooks probably knows Gilly moves, and that'll be a really interesting matchup. Now that you say that, I didn't even think about that. But you think Gilly's going to win out that matchup, right?
Yeah. I think Brandon Cooks joined the Patriots in 2017. Gilmore joined in 2016. So they definitely did cross paths in New England. Yep. I don't think Cooks is going to do anything in this game, really. I know, like I said before, He usually hits that benchmark every season of 1,000 yards, but especially for this game, Gilly Lock's season is back, and he's in Indianapolis now.
Yeah,
So I really think he's going to show up. Also, I think it'll be pretty cool to see him get an interception and lock down Brandon Cooks, while his brother yesterday got the game-sealing pick six for Marshall against Notre Dame. So
how
that
great is
could
that, by the way? Sorry if you're a Notre Dame fan, but that was just I'm so happy that happened. Like,
yeah,
sorry if you're a
I'm not
Notre Dame fan, but that was pretty awesome to see Marshall win that game.
I'm not a fan of any Indiana college sports, so I just kind of
Valid.
looked at it at a very objective standpoint, and it was awesome, and I think it would be a really cool storyline. Oh, okay, I think it would be a really cool storyline to see both the Gilmores get an interception.
Imagine if Gilmore, imagine if Stephon. I hope to heck we're not in this position, but imagine we're in crunch time and the Texans are like driving the football on us, and we're up like 28-21 or something like that, and Gilmore just picks Mills off like that. Like, I know that's outlandish and probably crazy, right? But wouldn't that be pretty cool if he and his brother made like similar plays and like that? I think to me that'd be really cool. Go off your point.
Whew, sorry.
You're good.
Two squirrels were just fighting on my deck, and I just don't know which was talked about. I'm sorry.
I was
They were literally having like a full out fist brawl, like right on my deck, and sorry, you might have
no, it's
to.
all good. I was just saying that if Gilmore made a similar play to his brother, like his brother made against Notre Dame yesterday, I think it'd be really, really cool. Like, I hope we're not in that position at the end of the game, but it would be really cool to see that. That's all I
Yeah.
was saying.
Oh. Whew. Dude, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Like I'm out of it right now. Like I was just sitting out on my deck, and it just happened right behind me. So, um, we can go to some other questions that are down here. Another
Yeah,
bold. Someone had a bold prediction of
for
Paris
Paris
Campbell.
Gamble. Ooh, I see that. I see that.
Oh
Now
shit.
that is bold. I will give them that, but it's plausible. I think it's there. If they scheme up some deep shots for him, that might happen. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
legit might happen. Um, I could see. I definitely could see Paris having a good game today, but it's gonna have to come off some scheme plays, I think, for him, because I don't think he's gonna be one of those guys that's just gonna, snap number one. He's gonna be, he's not gonna be like Michael Pittman where he's like super ready. It's gonna take him a minute to adjust again. But if they scheme up a deep shot for him, that would not surprise me, or scheme up like a couple. Yeah, that totally wouldn't surprise me at all. Even get some like jet sweep type plays like at Ohio State. Could be fun. I didn't even think about that, but it would be really fun to have Paris Campbell out there and Nyheim Hines out there at the same time, because it just gives you so much. Um, it gives you just a dynamic. It makes your offense more dynamic. I guess that's how I would say that. I'm really excited to see how those two work together too.
I
But
would say this. If Pittman gets, let's say, like, 5 or less targets than Campbell, I'm gonna say Campbell has more receiving yards than Pittman.
yeah, I don't think that's unrealistic at all, because if Pittman only gets the ball 5 times, he's like a receiver where he's gonna catch balls down the middle of the field. He's kind of more of a like he's just steady. I don't know. There's not a great way to put his game, but he's just steady all the time. Like, you can count on him to make um, convert a third down catch, right? Like, he's just one of those steady players. He's not like a huge big play per se, like potential kind of guy. He is, but that's not his like strength, I guess I would say. He's made plenty of big plays, but he's more of a receiver where he's going to convert a third down in the middle of the field, or he's going to make a nice catch on second down and 8 or something like that, right? I mean, he's just one of those types of receivers. Paris, on the other hand, he's more dynamic, and if you scheme up deep shots, like I mentioned earlier, and if Pittman only has 5 targets, I actually would say that's pretty likely. That's a bold prediction, but I can totally see it happening.
I wasn't saying like just 5 targets. I was like the differential between targets is 5.
Gotcha.
And that I was like, so if Campbell and Pittman have quite like similar target share numbers, I do feel like Campbell is going to have more receiving yards. Just as you said, it's in the nature of his game, and it's going to be in the nature of how Frank
Pittman
Reich
plays.
schemes them up, and
Yeah.
how Pittman is also just a dominant, get up there, catch it kind of guy. Yes, he does do the yak, and I really hope that he has a lot more yak opportunities than he did last season. That's another aspect I'm looking forward to in this game. But
Yards after the catch? What is that?
yeah, don't ask Wentz.
Don't ask him. Yeah.
He won't give you an answer.
No, he won't. No, he won't. That's Washington's problem now, not ours. That's good. It's good for us, right? I mean, gosh, I'm so happy that it's going back to what I said like at the very beginning. It's just so good to have Matt Ryan at quarterback. Like he's gonna play like a quarterback should play, and I'm so happy. I'm really excited to see how he plays today. Honestly,
yeah,
not to go off topic there, but
no, actually, I wanted to touch up on this. A lot of people, when naming players and like who's gonna have the big day or who's gonna be the underrated player, none of them say Matt Ryan. I don't know if this is because it's like the Colts haven't ever gotten used to a single quarterback and like they aren't really familiar with their game or anything, but
right.
it used to like we always I don't know, you see people on the internet with Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, they're gonna have a big game against this defense.
Right.
But with the
Right.
Colts, it's always, oh, Pittman's going to have it. Taylor's going to have it. You never really see the quarterback get selected to have the big game. And with Matt Ryan now, I think it's time for him to kind of reclaim that title. And now he's
Yeah.
going to be a player, and where Colts fans are now going to be anticipating to see him put up big receiving numbers. We haven't seen all too much of that since like Andrew Luck, I would say, where
Yeah.
Andrew Luck was putting up 400 receiving yards a game. Not on average, but we've seen him do it. All the other previous quarterbacks weren't really capable of doing that. And
I agree.
Matt Ryan I know he's at a ripe age and retirement is pretty close for him in his career, but he's still got it in the tank. He's proved it with the Falcons. He can throw more than 40 times in a single game, and that's where I'm excited to see and finally getting to witness once again a Colts quarterback that can just sling it at will throughout the whole season.
Yeah, and to go back to your point about him being probably our best quarterback since Andrew Luck, I said that the minute he was acquired, now people kind of laughed because like no kidding, right? Like look at who our quarterbacks were the past few years, but no, seriously, I think he's going to play absolutely phenomenal in this system. And if you look back on Andrew Luck when he was coming back with the Colts and Frank Reich in that season, I think it was Frank Reich's first season, and Andrew Luck was coming off injury, if I recall correctly. So in that season, Andrew, if you remember right, Andrew got off to a really slow start, and then at the end of the season, they went on a run, and I think they ended up finishing like 10-6, and then they won the wild card game against the Texans, and then they lost the divisional against the Chiefs. But yeah, it's one of those things with having a quarterback like that. Like I just feel like we're overlooking how much of a difference Matt Ryan makes on this team. I think this team, with him at quarterback last year, maybe wins 12 or 13 games, and I don't think that's a huge stretch, because I felt like Carson put the Colts in situations where, at his highest, he was really, 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 really good. but there are games when he just didn't have it. And Matt Ryan's going to bring it every time. He's one of the active leaders in game-winning drives. I think he's like fifth or he might be like fourth or fifth on the list if I recall correctly. I'm just going off of memory here, but Matt Ryan's a veteran quarterback. He knows what he's doing, and he's going to win us football games. That's what you want at quarterback. You don't want volatile. You don't want the guy who's going to live and die by the three-point shot. To go back to the basketball analogy, I'm just excited for what Matt is going to do for this team, and we're going to see. I think we're going to see in day one how much of a difference he makes. So,
just look at that picture I shared.
I know
Just look at it. The beauty of it.
It just looks natural.
He looks so much better in 2 than our last quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. he just does. It fits so much better. Doesn't I mean I hope I'm not crazy for saying that, but he just looks like he just looks like an NFL quarterback to me. Carson Wentz looks like a I'm not gonna crap on him too much, but
say it.
He kind of looked like Division II North Dakota State guy. Kind of didn't really belong. I don't know. So there you go. That's what I think of Carson Wentz. But anyways, yeah, just really excited for today. Before we wrap up, though, I was gonna ask you, Theo.
We should invite
who
some
is
people
on the? Sorry, what?
Okay, you can ask me. I'll answer, but we should invite some people on.
That's true. I was going to ask you really quick before we wrap up, and of course, you guys can request to speak before we leave as well. We'll answer a few questions. You can throw some questions in the comments too. Final chance for Q&A and things like that. But since Theo runs the fantasy show, or I can't remember, I'm blanking on the name. The fantasy table, right, for the Boost table,
yes,
correct?
Sir. Yep.
All right. Sorry, long week for me. But Luke, Theo, and Austin do that, and since Theo's a fantasy expert, I wanted to ask him if you had a Colts player on your fantasy team, who would you like? Who's your biggest play today for the Colts in fantasy?
Well, Jonathan Taylor, of course, you're starting him. Michael Pittman Jr., of course, you're starting him.
Yeah.
It kind of all comes down to, also Colts defense. If you have them, you're starting them.
Yeah.
It all really comes down to players like Nyheim Hines, Paris Campbell, Matt Ryan. If you're struggling at quarterback,
yeah.
If you're struggling at quarterback and Matt Ryan is definitely someone I'd play for this game. I know a lot of people think that's going to be a blowout with Jonathan Taylor running all over. It has been historically, but this is one of the easiest defenses the Colts will face this season, and
you're not wrong.
Yeah, why not play Matt Ryan in that game? It's good. I mean, it's not going to be the shootout match, and he might not be the highest scoring guy.
No,
but that's only if you're really struggling. Nyheim Hines, as you said, you really like him in the flex.
I do too.
I too really like it in the flex. I know with fantasy, answering these general questions is all kind of very variable in different leagues, and some people play in 8-man leagues, some people play in 14-man leagues with 3 flex spots. But Nyheim Hines is definitely on the flex watch, especially with that game against the Jaguars that he had with Phillip Rivers, and he absolutely went off. If you personally believe in Matt Ryan throwing to his quarterbacks, in which you should because he has, Nyheim Hines is a solid flex play, and I wouldn't be afraid to put him in there.
Yeah.
Campbell, I'm afraid to put into starting lineups just because it's week 1 and we haven't necessarily seen this offense in regular season form again, and how the wide receivers are going to legitimately rotate in target shares, or if it's going to be Matt Ryan, Michael Pittman, and the backfield. We don't know how well Matt Ryan's going to distribute his targets in this offense. So wide receivers other than Pittman, I would keep on the bench.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Jay, I'm so sorry for I booted Jay earlier. You guys probably didn't notice it, but we were getting feedback from his mic, so I tried to mute him and then it wouldn't let me unmute him. So sorry, Jay, but you're back. I don't know if you've been listening, but you're back. Yeah, what do you want to say?
Well, first I want to say the audacity of you, Theo. How dare you?
For what?
What did Theo do?
You cannot come on my show.
I'm
and
kidding,
tell me
Zach.
how to
It's you
rotate.
who have the audacity. But anyways, sorry, but of the fantasy talking points right here, I do agree that Paris Campbell is a very risky play considering we haven't seen what the target distribution will be, and of course, like Michael Pittman Jr. is the only one that you can really start with absolute confidence. But on the same token, if you're not going to start Paris Campbell when he's healthy, when are you going to start him?
It's fair.
You know,
that is a very fair talking point. I'm gonna say, in response to that is,
maybe in a deeper format, like 16 teams.
Yeah,
sure.
deeper format I would. But I just really want to see how this game plays out before I start him in confidence. I know he could get hurt at this game, as he has been very unlucky in the past. But he also has been going undrafted in many leagues, so it's not really going to be too much of a risk to not play him this week. And if he stays healthy past the Texans and has a good game, guess what? You got an undrafted piece sitting on your bench that is now a flex option for you. Is it your best flex option? It shouldn't be, but it now adds onto the rotation in case other players get hurt. It makes your fantasy team a lot better going down in the season. So definitely watch out for this game. And if you have him stashed on your roster, that also could be a good trade piece for someone if you're looking to upgrade your flex position, if you're not really comfortable with Paris Campbell. But yeah, it's today's game. There's a lot of trajectory where he can go in his fantasy stock.
I agree. So this is okay. So I agreed with. I told Johnny. I said we got to get up at 12:15. I know everyone's got family over. They're going with friends, and we want to get this thing wrapped up before we go. But yeah. So literally, if you guys want to drop questions in the comments, looks like we've got one requested speaker, so we'll have him on and drop some more questions in the comments, guys. We want to hear from you. So we're going to have Arsenio join us for a second. And then please, again, just if you guys want to drop questions in the comments, please do so. Really excited for today, though. I can't emphasize that enough. Arsenio, how are you doing?
Sino, what's up?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Hey, I'm surprised you called me by my nickname, man.
Oh, I just saw your ad, so I just
Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you for having me. Got a quick question though. Matt Ryan, after this season, do you think we should continue to give him another extension, or do you think we need to start fresh instead of going to picking up veteran quarterbacks?
Do you want me to take this one?
Yeah, you can take this one, Theo. Yeah, go ahead.
He did sign a contract for 2 years to the Colts, and I believe the Colts do think that he's going to be a viable quarterback for the next 2 years.
At least.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
And if he still's playing at a high level in his second year with the Colts, and he says that he's not ready to retire, I'm pretty sure that the Colts will re-sign him for another year. But if he doesn't play that well in year 2, or he decides to go up and leave house and leave the NFL, that puts the Colts in a good position to. Now they have the right draft picks. They've kind of recuperated their losses after Wentz, and they're going to be able to go after a young QB in the draft the following season.
Yeah, so here's what I kind of think. This is all dependent. This is all contingent on how Matt plays. But if Matt plays well with these 2 years on his contract, I think he likely gets an extension maybe 2 to 3 years, I think he could be your quarterback for the next 4 to 5 years realistically. I really do think that. But in the meantime, I think the Colts have to be thinking about rookie quarterbacks and drafting guys, right? So
yeah,
if they find their guy, let's say it's next off season, and the Colts really like a quarterback in the draft, but they still really like Matt Ryan. I think if you're Chris Ballard and the Colts, you're gonna have to go ahead and draft that guy. But I don't think that will necessarily like shorten or lengthen Matt's career. If you kind of see what I'm saying, but
yeah.
I think Matt can be your guy for the next 4 to 5 years, though. I really do think that because he's only 30. I think he's 37. I think Phil was like 39, or I think he might have been even 40 years old when he was playing with us. And Matt Ryan's in far better condition.
Yeah, I think
in my
Phil was
opinion.
40.
I think he's a better athlete than Phil was at this stage. So I think he has the ability to play longer than people probably give him credit for. But yeah, I think Matt's your quarterback for the next 4 or 5 years. Jay, what do you think?
I agree. I think that the timeline is going to be very interesting here in terms of when the Colts will want to draft a quarterback because, like you said, Matt Ryan, they're at least confident that he's going to be the quarterback for around 2 years. After that, we'll see. They could extend him for longer because he is 37, not like Philip Rivers 39. But if you go short, like if you go get a quarterback in like next year's draft or the draft afterwards, then you have someone who you feel maybe you can develop behind Matt Ryan for a year or two, maybe even 3.
Yeah.
Or you wait until you just invest all your picks more so in like trying to build the team around Matt Ryan and try and get one last run at it, and then maybe you go into after Matt Ryan retires or leaves the Colts for whatever reason. Then you go in and try and get the best quarterback that you can in the next year's draft after maybe a tank year. Hopefully, that quarterback would be a caliber of, let's say, a Arch Manning, hypothetically speaking.
Yeah.
But
continue your hypothetical, Jay. Are you going to hypothetically pair this Arch Manning with a hypothetical Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Hypothetically, and I cannot stress this enough, very hypothetically, not literally. Yes.
Maybe
Awesome,
Eugene Hilton too.
Eugene Hilton.
Did you see? No, he was on. Someone told me he was on ESPN this morning. He was on the You Got Moss thing. He mossed somebody apparently. So that was pretty cool to see. But you get Eugene Hilton, you get Marvin Harrison Jr., Arch Manning. There you go. I mean, why not, right?
Apparently, Edgerrin James's kid is also playing right now, so why not?
Why not, right? Can you be a backup to JT? There you go.
How cool will it be to get Vinatieri's son, nephew?
Yeah, he's got a son at Ball State right now. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool too.
I might hop on the Madden franchise right now instead of watching the game.
he just create the dream team, right, Theo?
The next generation.
Hey, thank y'all for having me. Thank y'all for listening to me, man. I'm gonna continue to listen. I'm turning my mic off.
All right.
Thank you,
good.
my man.
Thank
you.
Great
question.
Go Colts.
Go Colts.
And with that, guys, there's no more questions in the comments, it looks like, but we appreciate you guys for coming on, and go Colts. We're going to have a great game today. Any last words, Jay or Theo?
Well, guys, let's hope that this is the first of several streaks that ends for the Colts. This is going to be a very interesting game to watch, and the long wait is finally over. All right, let's go Colts.
Let's go Colts. Theo, anything else?
I just keep looking at Matt Ryan wearing that Colts uniform.